WFYI podcasts are made possible by Bloomington, Indiana, an American college town offering experiences like indulging in grub at Nick's English Hut, taking a stroll along Kirkwood Avenue, feeling the history and magic of Assembly Hall, and providing the chance to feel like a college kid again. Plan your trip at visitbloomington.com.
I'm Kyle Long, host of Cultural Manifesto, just one of the local music programs you can enjoy on WFYI. These programs would not be possible without your financial support. And to say thank you, we want to send you to see Lyle Lovett when he comes to Indianapolis on July 28th. Choose a concert ticket as your gift when you donate at WFYI.org/give. And thanks for supporting WFYI.
This is WFYI News Now. It's June 5th, and I'm Abriana Herron. On today's show, the charges against 55 pro-Gaza demonstrators arrested at IU's Dunn Meadow are dropped. Microsoft plans to invest $1 billion in Northwest Indiana. And the West Lafayette City Council this week voted down a resolution calling for a bilateral ceasefire in Gaza.
My concern is that if we set this precedent, our scope of business will be taken to heights that it's not in our bounds.
Those stories coming up. But first, a majority of the Indianapolis City-County Council voted to approve a new sports development area at its meeting Monday night. As WFYI's Jill Sheridan reports, the move paves the way for a potential Major League Soccer team.
The vote was not along party lines, but at the end of the meeting, councilors voted 16-8 to allow the new site to move forward. A professional sports development area would create a taxing district to help fund the stadium. Last year, another stadium development site was approved for Indy 11, the city's minor league team. The move away from these plans caused a rift between the team's owner and city leadership. The Metropolitan Development Commission will need to give final approval to the proposal. The city needs to submit a proposed map to the state by the end of June. If the measure is approved and the city of Indianapolis is awarded a team, there would still be numerous steps before a stadium is built. I'm Jill Sheridan.
The Monroe County Prosecutor's Office is dropping charges for criminal trespass against 55 pro-Gaza demonstrators arrested at IU's Dunn Meadow. WFIU's Ethan Sandweiss reports.
Chief Deputy Prosecutor Jeffrey Kerr described the university's response to the protests on April 25th and 27th as, quote, constitutionally dubious. He said if the county proceeded, it would be unlikely to successfully convict on the merits. But not everyone feels that way. Indiana State Police Chief Doug Carter said in a statement that he feels the prosecutor caved to political pressure. He said he believes, quote, these kinds of decisions can lead to lawlessness. The prosecutor's office has not yet responded to those accusations. The American Civil Liberties Union is suing IU for its response to the protests on constitutional grounds. For WFIU News, I'm Ethan Sandweiss.
Governor Eric Holcomb announced Tuesday that Microsoft plans to invest $1 billion on a new data center in Northwest Indiana. Indiana Public Broadcasting's Brandon Smith reports Microsoft joins a growing list of companies planning to invest billions on data centers in the state.
Microsoft plans to build the data center in LaPorte. The investment, which will support the company's cloud computing infrastructure, is expected to bring only about 200 jobs within the next 8 years. With its announcement, Microsoft becomes the fourth major tech company this year saying it will invest big money in Indiana. Meta plans an $800 million data center in Jeffersonville, Google a $2 billion facility in Fort Wayne, and Amazon an $11 billion investment in data centers in St. Joseph County. Likely part of what's luring such investments? Those companies are all eligible under state law for a sales tax exemption of up to 50 years on the equipment they buy for their data centers. For Indiana Public Broadcasting, I'm Brandon Smith at the State House.
And for our final story today, the West Lafayette City Council this week voted down a resolution calling for a bilateral ceasefire in Gaza. As WFYI's Ben Thorpe reports, communities across the country have taken up this issue. In West Lafayette, residents have increased pressure on the council over the last 4 months to take action.
Protesters have demanded the council consider a resolution calling for a ceasefire between Palestine and Israel in previous months, to no avail. This time, councilors introduced a resolution that called for national leaders to support humanitarian aid to Gaza and the release of any hostages. Citizens turned out to speak for and against the resolution. City Council Vice President Kathy Parker says the city shouldn't be addressing the issue.
My concern is that if we set this precedent, our scope of business will be taken to heights that it's not in our bounds.
The resolution failed with only 2 votes in favor. Residents erupted into calls for a ceasefire now. Ceasefire now! I'm Ben Thorpe, WFYI News.
That's all for today's episode of WFYI News Now. Our podcast is produced by the following people who live in your community: Drew Daudelin, Kendall Antron, who composed the music for this podcast, and me, Abriana Herron. Our news director is Sarah Neal-Estes. If you like today's episode, remember to subscribe and share, and follow WFYI on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube to check in on our newsroom throughout the day. Thanks for listening. We'll be back tomorrow.
WFYI podcasts are made possible by Bloomington, Indiana, an American college town offering experiences like indulging in grub at Nick's English Hut, taking a stroll along Kirkwood Avenue, feeling the history and magic of Assembly Hall, and providing the chance to feel like a college kid again. Plan your trip at visitbloomington.com.